The MCG on Friday night, as Kane said, it was Collingwood against the Sydney Swans. The Swannies making it 2-0. The Pies 0-2.
You could see within the first 2 or 3 minutes that Sydney were on and Collingwood were making so many errors. And I just love this from the Swans. We all might want to focus on Collingwood because they're the reigning premiers and they should be discussed because they are not going well. They're not going well, Collingwood, in their defence. They're struggling through their midfield and their forward line is hopelessly out of form. But the Swans were just phenomenal. I just think you love barracking for the Sydney Swans because you just get this time and time again. But I think they're a top 4 side, Sydney. You know, we've seen them within the space of 2 weeks. They are a super team. Don't lack for much.
Any questions on the Swans, Lordo?
The only question mark I'd say is Logan McDonald and Joel Amartey. Can they carry this forward line through towards the business end of the year?
Lordo, the question I want to ask you is, and you know, being a Collingwood supporter, a lot of Collingwood supporters will want to know, we're only 2 games in, 0-2. Surely no one is prepared at this early stage to say Collingwood is in danger of missing the finals.
I think if they lose on Thursday night, I think they'll be 0-4. They play Brisbane at the Gabba on the Thursday night. So this is a crunch game for them, whether they make the finals or not, in my opinion.
What? So you're saying if
I think they'll be like Geelong. Geelong won the flag and then missed the finals, and you could see they were off. They were 0-3, Geelong, missed the finals. So I think, Thursday is a crunch game. Even though it's round 3, they could miss the 8.
Carlton proved last year, though, you can be struggling.
Yeah, you can. But I think this is more than just a little, lapse. Yeah. I think they've got issues in every area of the ground.
All right, what's your take on that game?
Well, the Sydney Swans, I love how they run and carry the football with their midfield, Heaney through there, Warner. But the 2 weeks they've played so far, a lot of short chips. Now, I want to show you, you can get into trouble when you chip the ball short, but if you set your ground up with 3 players who set it up perfectly, then you can move the ball. But you have to have those players out there to make the ground wide. Have a look at this from Sydney. So 3 of them out there, and all 3 of them eventually get the football. They go wide. Now, if all players are on one side of the ground, you can't chip. You just chip and you get in trouble and you turn it over. But if you set up properly like Sydney did time and time again, they did this against the Demons last week as well, you finally get some holes. So this short chipping game from Sydney, along with the running game through the midfield, has found a couple of good sides undone.
All right, let's move back to footy now, and we cast our mind back to Friday night. This was the clash between Collingwood and the Sydney Swans, and, well, it turned out to be a pretty one-sided affair.
Oh, very, very good. Logan McDonald kicked 4, Warner out of the middle with Heaney. I love that mix, and McInerney as well. I thought that Dacos was playing a lone hand there for a while. 37 disposals, kicked a brilliant goal. But they went slow at times, Sydney, then they went fast. And Collingwood, as we know, they like to give a bit of a leg rope to their forwards and read the ball. But the other night it didn't work. From the first mark Logan McDonald took on Darcy Moore, Moore was about 20 metres off him. It just set the tone for the night. And they went slow, they went fast, and this was the result. You push forward with players who can take marks.
How good's Heaney going? I mean, all their midfield, your man Warner is probably the best, maybe second best player on the ground, but Heaney's start to the year playing as a midfielder has been enormous. Across the board, as Lordo mentioned off the top, they play team first footy, they get after the opposition, and Collingwood couldn't cope with the heat.
The talk now is when Adams, Mills and Parker come back, what's the right dynamic? Because Heaney, I don't know if he would have been in there as much, but he and Warner need to stay in there because they're so more...
And you got Goulden and Rowbottom's really important to them as well. So I don't know if Taylor Adams is in this side at the moment.
Logan McDonald was good, kicked his 4 goals, Lordo. Is it a forward line that can function and win in September?
I think Amartey's really raw, and unless Amartey marks the footy, he doesn't contribute much else. So he doesn't get involved at ground level or pressure enough. Logan McDonald's the one you hope that he can kick 50 goals for you, but still I think he's still maybe 12 months away from that. But then they've got Papley and Heaney and all these others that just get us Hayward. So they've got so many others that they can win a flag. I still think, even if those guys aren't just ready quite yet. And the other one down the other end, Darcy Moore, he is a concern, I think, because you've got to adjust to the state of the game. And I think Darcy, if I'm a defender, I'd be going, OK, we're not going that well in the midfield. Let's tighten up. Let's get a bit closer, get a bit more touch, and they're not doing it, Damon.
When you say concern, Lotto, are you referring to him personally or the fact that Nathan Murphy is out indefinitely and Jeremy Howe came back for this game but was underdone?
Well, Nathan Murphy is a huge loss because, unfortunately, he's not ready yet. 43 that's been Charlie Dean.
Yeah, he had a bad
night.
Yeah,
he's not ready to be in the situations he's in. But Nathan Murphy saves them and covers for them so often. And I think they're all just being caught out.
And that's impacting more the way...
Yeah, it is. And I think Lachie Schultz hasn't fit in quite. He's really struggling. Jamie Elliott's off. So they've got too many players across the board that just aren't gelling together.
Let's have a look at the votes, and it could have gone either way for Warner or Heaney. I had Heaney just on top of Warner. Dacos was their best, and Errol Goulden, he runs a lot out in that wing. Started slowly, but ended up with 30 at the end of the night.